It's 6:30. We call Sawyer County Public Works meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Mark Helwig.
Here.
Randy Newman. Chuck Van Etten.
Here.
Jim Evans. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Number 4, certification compliance with open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the public and the news media as required by section 19.84 of Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5, the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 6 is public comment. Anybody wish to speak to the board at this time?
I didn't get my corn filled out fast.
That's okay. State your name.
Ron Ulmer, 10713 Namakogan Lane, Hayward, Wisconsin, town of Hayward. Simple question. At the, I think it was a September or October meeting, Derek would know that the engineer for the airport indicated they were going to be requesting funding for the first engineering phase of the plan, of the master plan, which was engineering to possibly close Airport Road and to build hangars where the MRS, the former Hayward Wood Products, was on the corner of Airport Road and Hospital Road. So they were requesting engineering to proceed with that process. We would like to know, I know you can't answer that tonight, but if we could have a report at the next meeting, what the status of the funding to do that engineering was from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. If you can answer that tonight, great. But it's been several months and we would like to know what that status is. Okay, thank you.
You want to answer it when the meeting's over? You want to answer it now?
Could you just, did you repeat that? You were asking what the status of the engineering for,
First phase.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
could you just repeat what your question is, please?
The question was that the engineering firm that works for the airport,
Yep.
I said that they were going to be requesting funding to do the engineering work on the first, on an initial phase from the master plan. That phase included closing Airport Road, building hangars where the where the old Hayward Wood Products is. It's called, I think it's called MRS. Buying that property, first of all, buying that property, and building hangars on that. That would have been the first phase. They were going to request funding for that engineering process. This has been now about 6 months almost, and we're just curious what the status of that funding is from the state of Wisconsin.
There's been no funding and there's no request at this time for funding.
They haven't even requested it?
No. No. We
Okay,
don't-
I'm sorry, but that's not what we've heard from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. So,
Right.
thank you.
Referencing the airport layout plan of the part of the master plan. Kaufman Associates is not doing the ALP update.
Right.
Becker Hoppy is.
Yep.
Becker Hoppy has not been awarded a contract of
Right.
any kind with the state of Wisconsin for the engineering services for developing the new airport layout plan. They separate those two
Yeah.
categories because they're two very different professions, essentially.
So I'm sorry, but, so I'm correct in my head, the plan hasn't even been approved yet, that we've been looking at all this time, right?
Yeah, it's,
No, the master plan is not complete.
I'm simply repeating what I heard at the meeting, my friends. The engineering firm said we will be requesting funding to do the engineering on that portion that I just addressed. That was said in September or October of the meeting by, Derek, what's the name of that firm? Not Kaufman.
Becker Hoppy.
Huh? Yeah, okay. And they said we're going to request funding. So we're just curious where that funding is. That's it. So if they haven't requested it, my question is mute. If they've requested it, we'd like to know what the status of that request is. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anybody online? Number 7, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, which was February 12th.
I make a motion to approve the February 12th meeting minutes.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Evans to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, maintenance report. Anything you want to add, Andy? There, here you go.
Nothing to add. If there's any questions, just, he's moving along with, the maintenance is moving along with the projects within the building. I think it was a pretty decent year thus far for snow removal, so they were able to get a lot of inside work done. If you have any questions, I'll take those. Otherwise, I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. Number 9, Sawyer County Airport report. Mr. Leslie.
Good evening. First thing I'd like to point out in my report is, and I've tried to have at least one sentence or 3 on the master plan on each report. It hasn't changed now for probably about 4 or 5 months. In my report, it says we're still waiting for BOA to finish up contracting for the ALP. I know that they were meeting on that this week. I haven't heard the status of where they're at. I know that there was a lot with our ALP that they had to get through for the contracting. As far as the funding, I believe that the funding has already all been approved for the ALP, but the state has to get the contracting. They have to get the contracts written and signed and executed.
Refresh my memory, ALP is.
Airport layout plan. That's a requirement for airports to have an active airport layout plan. It's an integral part of the process. Otherwise, good news. I had in my report, we got snow. Boy, we had about a week and a half of snow. It's amazing how many people flew in and out just for that week and a half. Really helps because when the sun comes out and melts the runway right behind snowstorms, there's always usually a day or 2 gap. Sometimes it could be a week as we wait for the runway to get to be in good shape. But if the sun comes out, it'll usually, melt the runway, and then we can get all the jets and planes in and out. So we had a lot of traffic for that really short period that we had. I don't think it was 2 weeks of really good snowmobiling this year. So we had a lot of people up for that. Helped pull a lot of skis in and out of airplanes too. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to pull cross-country skis in and out of some of these airplanes. The doors are not designed well for skis, I could tell you that. So a little bit of humor. I've been bugging Mr. Pino a lot. I think he and I are gonna be best buddies here now for the next month or 2, communicating about what the frost tubes are and how we're looking, because can't start a project until the town of Hayward lifts the road ban. We wouldn't want to anyways, because you don't want to be doing pavement work when there's still frost in the ground. In the last month, we did have our initial meeting with engineers. We've scheduled a pre-construction meeting. I don't have it here. I'm going to be sending out notice for our pre-con. It's going to be held on April 2nd at the terminal building. For the pre-con, we're just going to do it in the terminal building, but we are going to have a Teams meeting set up and a call-in line for people if they want to call and listen in. It's primarily for the stakeholders at the airport that utilize the airport landing airplanes in and out, discussing how long it's going to be shut down for, what to expect for being able to land and take off on our grass runway. So it's a opportunity for the users of the airport to ask questions of the contractors and engineers as to what they're going to expect with the project. So that's April 2nd. I think it's 10:30 in the morning on April 2nd. So there won't be any board members there. I don't know. Andy might come. Andy, will you be? Yeah, Andy might be there, but it's not a public meeting. We're not putting it out for the public to attend. I'm trying to think, our snow removal equipment bid came in. It got put together relatively quickly, even though we've been talking about getting new SRE for 3 years. Our new BOA rep, Colin Davidson from the engineering section, helped us get it put together. Tim, Andy, and I worked on that a lot, looking at the specs for our equipment. We had 3 bids come in. There is an apparent low bidder, but we're not supposed to talk about it yet because the state hasn't, well, the state told us not to talk about it yet. But the bids are in, and so we're taking a look at that. We're excited about getting new snow removal equipment. We're around the $500,000 range, give or take, for all the equipment that's machine, plow, broom, and snow blower package. So once the bid's signed and awarded, they have a year for delivery. I'm not sure if that's a stipulation that's always been there. I know other airports that have been waiting more than a year, but it'd be really nice if we got our snow removal equipment before next winter. That's the goal. I mean, we'd really like to see it because our stuff's aging pretty bad. A little bit of good news on the funding. Andy and I were both on emails asking about how much the funding is going to cost, and because of some of the funds that are being used, it comes with a 2.5% match for a portion of it and not 5%. So I think that we're budgeting about $12,000 potentially for the investment on Sawyer County's end into the $500,000 piece of equipment suite. So we're using, I think, 4 different types of funding for that, between a state apportionment, some discretionary funding from the state, our entitlements, as well as our bill funding from, I don't know, one of the acts. I can't remember.
It's the bill.
Bill.
Bipartisan infrastructure law.
Yeah, so we still have monies coming from that too that's getting used. I'm trying to think in the next month. I'll be going down to the conference down at Stevens Point for the BOA. And I don't think Andy's gonna go.
Because there's 2 new people on the board that might not know nothing about that. You want to tell a little bit about that, please?
The conference?
Yes.
So there's 2 major aviation conferences in the state each year. This is one, usually one spring, the other one's fall. The spring one is put on by the state. They're kind of bundling multiple things together this year for a land use seminar. But basically it's a conference setting. They're gonna have breakout sessions, they'll have keynote speakers. They provide, I think, breakfast or lunch 1 or 2 of the days. So I don't think I've ever stayed at the resort that or the hotel that it's at in Stevens Point. I don't remember, at least. But I usually don't miss either one of them, spring or fall. For an airport manager, it's what I consider to be continuing education. I don't get credits for it. I don't think I'm required to, but they wrap me up into being part of some of the sessions too. And I'm involved with both the fall conference is the Airport Managers Association. That one's usually a bigger one.
Board members can go also.
Mm-hmm. So it's some of the stuff that you're gonna hear is some of the sessions are not applicable to our airport. You know, a lot of the emphasis is I think there's 7 commercial airports in the state. So they have a lot of breakout sessions on commercial airport things that just aren't relevant to, you know, the management of our airport. But you know, one of the sessions we're going to have this year is just referencing medical operations in airports. I've actually been a part of helping build out that program and talking about it. And I think it's really important for airport owners to be educating their local EMS helicopter people, people who are going near helicopters, as to, proper procedures at airports, what to expect, what not to do, more importantly. So that's just an example of, some of the things that are discussed.
Any questions for Derek?
Can I double back to the public comment question and have Derek? I don't recall specifically the consultant, what he said. He very well could have said that, but it might be because maybe they anticipated that timeline. But I'm just going to put a plug in for Derek with the BOA. It's been incredibly frustrating, I don't know, the last year, 6 months, with the response at the BOA. I mean, they've turned over a lot of staff. We've had Colin since December now, and we've had to continually push to get things done as far as like the contracts in place for the runway reconstruction. Snow removal we talked to him about, and finally that seemed to break free 2 months ago, and we basically said get going, like move ahead with that so we can get that done. And then the ALP contract has taken way longer. That ALP update is supposed to move essentially in step now with the master plan as part of that process. And if, so that's why there's been probably no movement on any other engineering requests or timelines, because we can't really do anything until the ALP is complete. So if there's a delay, the state right now, I don't know if they've filled all their positions, but we've had a hard time outside of Colin getting responses on anything at the state.
What is the contract with, what's her name,
Becker Hoppy,
Yeah, Pecker Hoppy. What is that for?
that's up to update the airport layout plan. And I'll let Derek wants to explain what the ALP is, but it's basically the master layout for the airport.
Yeah, the ALP is going to show all past, future, and current possible outcomes for the airport, the areas you could use federal funding for to improve. ALP is going to show where all your runs are for electricity, where all your buildings are. It's a master document for where all the lease properties are. It goes very close in hand with the airport boundary survey. And
That's more complex than the master plan.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, whereas the master plan is all theoretical, the theoretical possibilities. The ALP is actually putting it down on paper, what is feasible, for, say, potential future expansions, what current infrastructure is there currently, that kind of stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Leslie.
Mhm.
Next item is Highway Department.
Good evening. With the warmer weather, we're out doing some patching. I didn't want to do too much yet until the frost gets out of the ground. Some of the bigger potholes. Brushing, we're also continuing on CCN and State Highway 27. And we also did complete some brushing for the local police departments, LCO, City of Hayward, Sawyer County for their sniper shooting range out here at the city gravel pit. We did complete that. Berkey was a success this year. We hauled snow into Main Street. We removed snow on Saturday then after the Berkey. We also winged back the shoulders and the no parking signs and all that up on Double O. Everything will be reimbursed by the Berkey for our work. I did place road bans on all counties, highways except for County Road B on March 3rd. Currently, as of today, we still have about 5.5 feet of frost in our tubes. We got anywhere from 12 to 22 inches of thaw. The week of April 21st through the 25th is Work Zone Safety Week. This year's theme is protect the zone so we all get home. It's a statewide to promote safety within our work zones. So I'll have notifications in the press, and we'll do the flyer again like we did last year with all our highway employees. Tim and myself, we did meet with the state last month to work on our road plan. Part of our road plans this year, we got projects on State Highway 2770 from Radisson to Ojibwa for crack sealing, mastic, and patch to try to hold that road together till the state can replace it. State Highway 27, same thing. We got a scrub seal about 4 miles on State Highway 48, continuing off the scrub seal we did last year, coming out of Exland. Then we're also going to be replacing the culverts out here past the hospital, Smith Creek culvert. There is gonna be a detour during that work. I don't have a time when we're gonna do that yet. It will be after July, because we can't do it till after July for the state. And then we're also gonna fix that bump in Radisson down there, just out of town. I got Spring Highway Commissioner training, April 8th and 9th in Elkhart Lake. I'm gonna be submitting the 2 flap grants. I've got them written for County Road S and County Road GG. So I'll be submitting those this month. I'm just having a consultant review them. He's been helping me along with them just to make sure I get cross my I's and dot my T's, and hopefully we get one of them. And then Dustin will be here on March 18th for our hearing tests. We'll get that completed. And then Jump River is putting on a electrical safety training down at their shop. Highway Department's about a 2-hour training. Highway Department's gonna go. I sent an email to all the towns asking if their employees were interested. Got a pretty good response from the towns, so we're all gonna have that on, can't remember the date. I sent it to the towns. CC Bridge replacement update on Blueberry Flats. Brushing's been completed and the bird netting's on the bridge. I do not have a timeline. We haven't had a pre-con yet when that's gonna take place, but that will be closed during construction. And then also the County B project, the 4-lane project out here is going to go after the Lumberjack Festival. So it's gonna be after July 19th. When I think there's 30 working days on that project to redo all 4 lanes up to Chippewa Trail. Got a couple issues on the County E North project we're dealing with the supervisors from DOT and the DNR. The DNR currently has us on hold on that project for the lake impacts. So the supervisors and myself are gonna meet on the 20th to discuss what we can do to move forward and get them to sign off. It's minimal lake impacts, but the DNR is not budging right now. So that project's scheduled for 27, and there's already talks of pushing it to 28 now. And I don't honestly see how we can hold that road together until 28. Couple other things, we have 1 job opening in Hayward, and then we have 1 employee off on FMLA due to a non-work related injury. That completes my report.
Questions? Possible, Pipestone Tower MOU with the town of Radisson, discussion and possible action.
So in 2019, the town of Radisson and the county entered into an MOU for maintenance and funding of the Pipestone Tower Road. Some people here probably have a little more history than I do, but I don't believe that that road services much more than our tower, communications tower that we have at the end of it. And so that's why the MOU was put in place for the transferring the maintenance of that road to the county, since the town did not want to maintain it. And they paid their GT, their general transportation aid funds for the road to the county in exchange for the county maintaining the road. So this agreement replaces the one that expired at the first of the year, I think is. Okay. And so there's really no changes to the prior agreement, same arrangement for maintenance and the funding. And then this one just would renew for additional 5-year periods until terminated.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Sawyer County and the town of Radisson.
Motion by Mr. Helbig, second by Mr. Evans. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries, and that goes to the full county board.
Yep, and yeah, it goes to the full county board, and the town has already approved it.
Anything else for our highway commissioner? Thank you, you do a nice job. Number 11, closed session pursuant. Consider motion to convey into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E, deliberate and negotiate the purchase of the public property, the investment of public funds, or conduct other specific public business, whatever competitive or bargaining reasons required in a closed session. The purpose of the consider existing lease agreement with county property located at 10 250N Tower Road, Hayward, and 10-424W State Road 2770, Radisson, and discuss the possible extension terms of negotiating strategy that requires a closed session to ensure that the county's competitive and bargaining position.
I'll make a motion, go
Just
into
a minute.
closed session.
Don't shut it yet.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Motion by Mr. Van Etten, second by Mr. Evans to go into closed session. Roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Ron Kinsley,
Yes.
Mark Helwig,
Yes.
Randy Newman, Chuck Van Etten,
Yes.
Jim Evans.
Okay, we're in closed session. Thank you. You got the recorder.
So now on here,
Participants. Click on it. Yep. Go to the right. And then put in waiting room.
Okay.
And then go down and then do the pause. Right there.
No.
So we're back in open session and there's no action to report from the closed session at this time. We move forward to number 13, board appointment committee updates. Does anybody have a committee that they want to report to this committee for information only? Hearing none. Number 14, correspondence reports, conferences and meetings. Future agenda items. The future agenda items we'll continue to get an update on the master plan when we receive the information. Mr. Hagberg will continue to give us reports of what he's doing, and our highway commissioner will also do the same.
They are all doing a fine job.
Yes, I believe they are. Okay,
Oh, and you too.
meeting adjourned. Thank you kindly.